Just a minute.
Yeah. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Wealth Wednesday show. We believe you're doing well and that you are in good health. Once again, sincere apologies for the late start as we were encountering some technical problems, but we are happy that it has been sorted. So today we are going to talk about how to create an investment roadmap. As we all know, we want to multiply our money, we want our money to grow, but how do you get to grow money? One way is through investment. Um, by investing, you are able to multiply your money and make it work for you. Now, when it comes to investing, a lot of people don't know where to start from, how to do it, and they just how can I create an investment roadmap that will help me achieve my financial goals as well as be able to make money work for me? Now, tonight we do have an amazing guest speaker all the way from Ghana, and he will be sharing with us nuggets on how you can create an investment roadmap that's gonna work for you. His name is Pastor Enoch Dzah. I hope I spelled the last name correctly. He is a servant of God. He's also a financial literacy advocate as well as an investment advisor. He has a wealth of wisdom that's going to share with us. Without further ado, allow me to give him the platform so that he can introduce himself. Pastor Enoch, please feel free to introduce yourself.
Thank you so much, Sheila. It's been amazing. And I'm glad to be here at this very important seminar. Kudos to you and the team at Financial Wellness Center. It's always a pleasure to get the opportunity to speak to a wide range of listeners and audience. My name is Pastor Enoch, and I'm a pastor. It's one of the things that I want to be known for, and I am also an investment professional. I currently work with a multinational firm, First National Bank, Ghana, and I also write for news papers like the Business and Financial Times, which is one of the biggest newspapers in Ghana. Modern Ghana, I write and I do a lot of personal financial literacy advocacy. So that is me. I'm excited about conversation about money and God. Yeah.
Absolutely. Actually, I've been following your work, and I must say, I was really intrigued by what you do. I've read a lot of your articles on the newspaper you just mentioned, and I like your school of thought about money, and I'm super excited to have this conversation with you, as I know we are going to learn quite a number of things from you. So, without taking much time, we're gonna get in right away. Pastor Enoch, what is an investment roadmap, and how can one create it? I'm sorry, can you unmute yourself, please? Yeah.
Sorry, thank you so much. I actually forgot. All right. I was just going to ask a question. How do you go to or you navigate your location, yourself around a place where you don't know about, right? How do you get to a place that you don't know? That is how come we now have Google Maps taking us to various places that we have no idea about and we've never been to before, and it's made life easier. The same way, there is no way you are going to get to the peak of your finances or your financial goals when you don't have a roadmap for it. So the roadmap is more about how you get to your financial goal, which is the peak of your financial independence. Basically, that's a roadmap. It should entail or detail out the various steps you need to take to become financially independent to be able to achieve your financial freedom. Yeah, that's what we're going to be talking about today.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I like the analogy you've given on how do we get to a new place when we want to go there. And you said we use some will use Google Map, others you'll have to ask around. And I love the fact that it's the same kind of of an analogy or idea we are going to discuss tonight. So, for someone who wants to start their investment journey, because I know many people who are going to watch this, they would be interested in starting their investment journey. What kind of strategies would you recommend?
All right, so I'll talk briefly on some of the steps I think you can take to create your financial roadmap that will take you to your destiny in terms of finances. And the first thing that I think is almost very important is anytime you Google another location or you put your destination on the map, it starts from where you currently are. So the first thing you have to do is to know your current net worth. So know your net worth as of now. And by knowing your net worth, I actually mean that you know what your assets are and what your liabilities are. And your assets simply are the things that you own, like your house, houses, like cars. And I know that other school of thoughts don't classify some cars as assets, but this one we are just talking about properties in your name. So you have to know your assets and your liabilities, the loans that you have to repay and everything. So that is it on knowing your net worth. The next one that you have to do after knowing your net worth is to know your cash flows. Your net worth is different from your cash flows. Your cash flows are basically the things that bring you money and the things that takes money out of your life. So a cash flow can be an outflow or an inflow. So the inflows are more of the ones that come in like an income, and the outflows are more like the expenses that we make. The inflows, you can talk about your salary, any allowances you get, any side hustle income that comes into your pocket or your bank account. The expenses, you can talk about your data for internet connectivity, which is one of the things that almost everybody ignores. But the little drops of water is what makes a mighty ocean. So the very tiny details of your expenses are actually key when you are on this journey. And the next thing after you know your position and what brings in and takes money out of your life is to set your financial goals. Now, in setting your financial, most of us want to be millionaires and billionaires, but those are not like goals enough. You want to make sure that your goals are smart. By smart, I mean by smart, I mean that they are timely, right? They are accurate. They have timelines that you say that maybe by the end of 1 year or 2 years, I want to be able to amass about say maybe $200,000, $1 million, or like you want to make sure that you have specific goals detailed out for you, and you want to make sure that you have them stated down. One of the things that I believe so much in the Bible, in Habakkuk
Mhm.
chapter, I think 1 verse 2 or 2, it talks about you writing your vision, making it plain on a tablet, and then run with the vision, or they that see the vision will run with it. When you don't detail out your goal or your financial plan or everything that you have, you will probably be doing a lot of things that will not lead you to your destination. So you want to have your goal stated out as to, how to get there. Now that you know your goals, you have to, most importantly, people downplay the importance of financial advisors, and these people are experts. They know what they are doing, and they help you strategize your finances enough to help you to achieve your set or your stated financial goals. So these financial advisors will help you to strategize your finances in order for you to achieve your set financial goals. I think these are a few keys I would like to share on how to create your personal financial roadmap. That is just like a brief, but we can go into details as you move on. I believe you'll learn a lot. So thank you, Sheila. Over to you.
That's super amazing, Pastor Enoch. And I must say, it's quite profound. And I like the fact that you've highlighted the major, the key foundations that can help you get started in your financial journey, especially for someone who's just starting out. Now, before we can delve in deeper. Allow me to thank everyone that is watching us. You may feel free to uh, drop a hi in the comment section and let us know where you're watching this live show from, as well as if you have any comment, any question, feel free to write write in the comment section. Remember, we are discussing about how to create an investment roadmap. And with us in the studio is none other than Pastor Enoch Dzah from Ghana. He is a financial literacy advocate, a pastor, as well as an investment advisor and a columnist in one of the most famous newspapers in Ghana. Now, back to our discussion, Pastor Enoch. Um, how does one build an investment portfolio? Because we've had a lot of people saying you need to have an investment portfolio. And you've just mentioned earlier that you need to check your net worth, and checking your net worth involves you looking out at the assets that you have. Now, how can I build my investment portfolio, especially as a beginner?
Thank you so much. There is no very big way about it. Just don't forget this quote that I said that, like little drops of water, I will make a mighty ocean. A portfolio basically is like a group, or like what's the name? Yes, a group of assets, right? So when we talk about portfolio, I'm talking about the fact that you have investment in different assets, financial assets, or investment products or securities. As a young person and as a beginner when it comes to investment, one of the things I think you can do in building your portfolio is by buying into what we call a collective investment scheme. Most of us know these collective investment schemes as mutual funds or unit trust. They basically are used interchangeably, although they vary a bit when it comes to their technicalities. So by that, I'm helping you, or we are helping you to buy into a mutual fund and a unit trust. Most of these collective investment scheme, you don't need a lot of money to be able to start. You can begin with as little as $10. I'm using dollars so we could all convert into our respective currency, irrespective of where we're coming from. So you can begin with as little as $10 everywhere, and occasionally you can put in money, and at any point in time you can also withdraw money. But what these mutual funds do is that it's a portfolio on itself. Why do I say that a mutual fund or a unit trust is a portfolio on itself? Because the investment firms collect money from the individuals that they are investing, or the investing public, that is you and I, and they put it together and make it a lump sum, and now distribute that lump sum among various investment products, be it bonds or equities, I mean stocks on the stock exchange markets, be it other money market instrument like treasury bill, or the government of Ghana or Kenya bill, or those products, they put it in them. So by doing that, they've already created a portfolio for you. But you just put your money into a mutual fund or a unit trust, but inadvertently you have actually created a portfolio for yourself. So I want you to start by beginning from a collective investment scheme. There are the money market, that we have the equity, we have the balance that combines both. We have what's in the education. There are quite a number of them. We even have real estate, and we have the balance that has almost everything together. So when you do that, you are on the road to achieving your financial independence and freedom. Aside that, from starting from here, there are many other investment products that you can look out at, but I think that for beginners, this is the best to go.
Mhm.
Yes, please. Thank you.
Absolutely. And to our audience, remember, Pastor Enoch has said small drops is what makes a big ocean. Now, I like that quote because it simply tells you the little investments you keep doing, and be consistent. With time, it's going to build up. But if you wait for the big breakthrough so that you can start investing, you might find that time will not be on your side. And one thing I know is, when with investing, time is very crucial. And I think that's where the cliche "time is money" came about, because time matters when it comes to investments and returns. If you're gonna get to enjoy returns, then you better start investing early with whatever you have. And he has given us an example of investing in investment portfolios like mutual funds that don't really need a lot of money. We can at least afford to start from somewhere. Now, I also saw somewhere that you have done things to do with investment banking, Pastor Enoch. Would you tell us more about that?
Okay, so when it comes to investment banking, don't confuse it with normal investment because investment banking focuses most of the time on raising capital, most of the time for
Mm,
businesses, and they play major roles when it comes to mergers and acquisition between two different organizations. They put together the document, do the due diligence, and make sure that all the companies are in shape. They value the company and they raise money, right? So let's say Financial Wellness Center, a company needs money to be able to say establish a fintech or an innovative
mm,
product, and they've come up with the idea, they've even rolled the idea out, but they don't have enough money. An investment bank
mhm,
comes in to help Financial Wellness Center to be able to raise enough capital to be able to run the business. So investment banks
mm,
are banks or an aspect or a division of the bank that operates in raising capital, both debt and equity, to help finance the operations of the business. So basically, that's
mhm,
what investment bank does. So its focus is more on companies and institutional investors and very wealthy people. Yeah. So that is
mhm.
basically what investment banking is.
Amazing. And this just came to my mind. Um, can we say that table banking, I'm not sure if you have it in Ghana, where normal people just come, like you and your friends, you come together, you contribute some money, then you give it to one person. Then the next time or the next month, you contribute money, you give it to another person. Is it a small form of investment banking? Can we consider it like that?
Not necessarily.
Mm,
You want to make
mm,
sure that the fundamental or the purpose for the contribution matters. In Ghana, it's called
mhm,
susu. Susu, SUSU. Basically, you form a
mhm,
group and you contribute money, and after every month or every week, you give it to one person,
mm,
and the next week you give it to another person. But the focus on investment banking has to do with raising capital. Capital for what? Capital to invest into a business, and you are raising the capital by using debt or equity. And investment banks don't necessarily give you their money, but they can help you to get money from other investment, I mean, houses or banks or other investors or institutional investors to invest into your business. So that is the difference between the susu or the table banking and then investment banking. The table banking, most of the time, they have a category under traditional banking. We have the commercial or universal banks, we have the savings and loans, we have the microfinance, we have the microcredits, and we have the susu bit also. So the table banking fall under these categories of traditional banking. Yes, please.
Amazing. I like the fact that you've been able to differentiate both of them. And I believe this is something I would always encourage people to do because, when you pull your funds together, you are able to do much more than having to, wait until you can get enough money, especially to start that business or even to, start investing, especially in
Yeah.
big things like treasury bills and bonds, which require at least some lump sum of money. Now, in recent times, we've seen the pandemic and how it has affected so many people, either directly or indirectly,
Yeah.
and quite a number of people have had to go through a very challenging financial season globally. Now, as an advisor, how does one get to pick up the pieces of their finances and get back on track after such a major financial hit?
Okay, so I think one of the articles I actually wrote around the COVID area, I think in March last year, when the COVID was
Mm-hmm,
fresh in Ghana, was about strategic personal finance. I spoke about a number of things, Uh,
Mm.
but aside that, I also spoke about how to pick up the pieces of of our finances, where I
Mhm.
detailed on how to create an emergency fund. I think an emergency fund is one of the best things or that will happen to you when you are under serious crisis in terms of finances. What's an emergency fund? It's just a fund created by you or an account created by you
Mm.
at any bank
Mhm.
or at any investment or asset management firm and or fund management firm. And what you do is that you want to put money there like every now and then or as and when you can, so that you build in some momentum and some like a significant amount of money that can take care of you for say from 6 months to 3 years, because we are assuming that something might happen when you might not be able to work within this period and you still need to live and survive on some of these things. So when you have an emergency fund in place, well built, you have an idle fund to lie or to rely on. That is the emergency fund. So basically, I will just probably take us through how to create an emergency fund briefly, or
Yes, please.
if that's fine with you, I'll just do that, or we just take other questions and we continue later.
No, please go ahead and state
Okay.
how we can create an emergency fund.
Okay, that's fine. Thank you so much. So one of the things that I stated or stipulated out was how to, first of all, you know that you have 2 years of wasn't of your worth, your salary or allowance, monthly allowance to put up in your emergency fund. And now that you know that it's 2 years, let's assume that you take say $100 a month. In 2 years, that is 2,400 dollars in 2 years. Now that $2,400, how will you be able to put it away aside from every month until you meet that target? Don't forget that the money you make every month is $100, so you cannot put away the entire $100. So what you do is that you create a budget that details out how your spending pattern is, and you bit down the expenditures that you can, and make sure that you make provision in your budget for an emergency fund or and also your investment. And what you are doing is that if you can, you put on what we call a direct debit. If you can't
Mhm.
use a direct debit, you can use a standing order, whereby at every specific date in the month, the bank will debit your account or wherever your money is and go and credit that emergency fund. So this is a very simple way of navigating your way through crisis when you are well prepared for it. Thank you.
Amazing, amazing. And you just mentioned you did a very insightful article. Maybe you could share with me the link. I can attach it in this live video after we've finished here, so that people can get to read more insights that you had shared. And I like the fact that you have explained extensively how to create an emergency fund, because people with this pandemic, that's when this word became famous. Everyone was talking about emergency fund, and people are like, what is this emergency fund? We only know about emergency things like ambulance, emergency. Now what's this emergency fund? And I love the fact that you've demystified the jargon in the room, and made it so simple. And I know, to everyone that is watching us, we cannot stress the importance of having an emergency fund as soon as possible and as much as you can, because you just don't know how tomorrow will be. You cannot forecast and say, I'm not going to have an emergency at all. It can happen, and this pandemic has taught us uh, things can really go haywire even when we are not properly prepared. Now I see someone here who's just commented. She's called Teresia Karemi, and she's saying, learning a lot here. Thank you very much, Teresia, for tuning in. We really appreciate your presence and support. Now, Pastor Enoch, as a millennial, sorry, what are the current trends in the investment industry now that I know you are really focused in the investment segment of finance, as that is something you really like to talk about.
Yeah, so over the past few years, and even in very recent times, we've seen how what's the name? How our currencies are depreciating against other major world currencies, and one of the things that I think is going to hit and is going to be a big thing is cryptocurrency.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot do away with cryptocurrency in the very nearest future because it has proven to be one of the best in terms of when your CDs, I mean your CDs, your dollar, your any currency is suffering, your crypto is still intact. The only thing is the volatility, how volatile it is, and I mean how risky it is because the prices goes up and down depending on demand and supply. So you just basically have to know how it works and know how when to buy the cryptocurrency, when to hold the cryptocurrency, and when to sell the cryptocurrency. If you do these three things, I think you'll be doing very great as a millennial. Yeah, thank you.
Amazing. I like the fact that you've touched base about cryptocurrency. This has been another mountain or another topic that is super heated, and I believe if we can get another chance, I'm gonna bring you and a cryptocurrency expert both at the same time in the show, so that we can have a discussion between both of you, and we just get to understand more, because this has been a topic that has left many wondering, should I not? And having people like you talking about it would be really amazing. Now, Pastor Enoch, you and I are millennials, and we cannot overlook the problems and the issues we are always having when it comes to money and money management. And what investment tools would you recommend one to focus on, especially that most people tend to think, as millennials, we are just YOLO. You only live once. You don't think about investments. So, what kind of investment tools would um, recommend us to focus on?
As millennials, I think aside we saying that YOLO, you only live once, we have made our what's the name? We have made our parents, we've made our father, our mother, our siblings, I mean older siblings of course, more like our financial plan. They cannot be your financial plan. Like you are your own financial plan. Whatever that happens, you are going to retire one day. Even if you don't retire, as I said, without an emergency fund, when you lose your job, even temporarily, you will struggle. So you have to put in place measures to be able to make sure that you don't suffer when those things happen. So as I earlier on stated, I think that one of the very difficult things to do is to put money away in terms of saving or investing the money. It is so difficult. Nobody is taught how to spend, but everybody is taught how to save and invest because spending is part of our bloodline. Like we are born with how to spend. Like it's the easiest thing everybody and anybody can do. But investing and saving, no way. Now I want to buy the latest Gucci product we have on the market. I want to get the latest sneaker that we have. I want to get the latest attire. I want to get the latest everything, the latest Benz in town. Whilst I don't have a land or I don't even have a house, and I'm still living in a rented apartment or whatever it is. So you want to make sure that you invest. And in investing, I earlier on mentioned mutual funds. You see, the importance of mutual funds can be underplayed. And why am I saying this? A mutual fund of say $100 for say 23 years is likely to make like $1 million. I mean every month, right? And when you look at it, you are barely paying about 200 and something thousand, and the remaining 800 and something thousand is coming out of the profit or the interest. So mutual funds or collective investment schemes are one of the key, and make sure that in doing that you put a direct debit on your account so that it moves directly, because we cannot trust ourselves. We will definitely, some way, somehow, we will not be able to move the money. We will spend it. By the time we know, we've spent it. So put a direct debit on the account. Once you are paid, once the allowance comes, it moves into your investment account, and make sure that you don't easily most of those times, some of these investments, it will take you like maybe 2, 3, or 4 days to be able to withdraw, unlike the bank account and the mobile money system where instantly you can withdraw with your ATM card. You can withdraw anywhere, anytime, any day. So you want to make sure you take advantage of some of these things. I think the collective investment schemes are one of the key that we have to do. Aside that, as young people, we have to look at stocks. By stocks, I mean, I don't know how the Kenyan stock market is doing, but I believe that the stock market is one of the places to amass wealth. Maybe in Africa, our stock markets are more of emerging or underdeveloped. So we are not seeing or they are not efficient enough. So we are not seeing a lot of movement in the prices or a lot of dividend payments. But it's one of the places of wealth creation. If you look at the returns on the real estate, returns on money market securities like bonds, look at the returns of the stock exchange market or the stocks, you see that the stock in the long term actually gives the best of returns among all the investments, irrespective of wherever you are going. So I think stock market is one of the places we have to take a look at when we are doing this, what we want to do well. And just a very quick info. If you can hear me right now, if you are not sure of what stock to invest in, right, look on the stock market, right, and then look at the various companies. Look at the products they offer or services they offer. Look at the one that everybody is demanding. Most of the time, those companies are likely to do extremely well. That is one of the secrets. If you have this secret, you don't really need to do a lot of. You might need to do some financial analysis, but this is one of the foundations that can help you to choose a good stock for on the Ghana on the stock exchange market. Thank you.
Glad that you brought the stock market into the discussion. It's one of my favorite. There's this question that most people tend to say, and they'll be like, I decided to invest in the stock market, and I went and chose the stock or shares that were selling at a low price because people say after some time the stock price will rise. Now, after some time, the stock price didn't rise, and the person becomes frustrated. Now, what would you say in such an instant? Should a person consider, aside from considering what most people are buying, should we consider the price of a stock before buying? Unmute yourself, please.
Sorry about that. There are a few metrics factors you want to consider when determining a stock price or when you want to know which stock to invest in. The first one is what I've told you. When you know the underlying asset or product or service that the business deals in, and it's good, it's a good basis to start. When you don't even know the underlying business of the company listed, what is your business to the stock market or that company? You should look elsewhere. If you don't understand their business model and how they make money, don't invest in it. You should want to understand and tell that no, these people, they are telecom communication companies, and telcos are one of the best and they are doing well. Okay, this is like the market leader in the telco space, and it just got listed on the stock market, and the price doesn't look very big. So it means that the price is good enough right now. And looking at the prospect and the space that we have, you can tell that if you invest in this and looking at the demand of their real products on the ground and services, looking at the space of 5 to 10 years, they are going to shoot up or double their prices by say 200, 300, or 400%. It's a good place to jump into. So you consider the price, make sure that it's not overpriced. When it's overpriced, most of the time it will become stagnant and the price will begin to fall and you begin to lose money, right? So
Yeah.
make sure you look
Yeah.
at the price, look at the underlying asset or product or service of the company, and then make sure that you know when to buy and when to sell. You should know.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't know,
Mm-hmm.
ask a financial advisor and you'll be sorted out. Thank you.
Absolutely. Pastor Enoch, I'd love us to continue with this conversation because you're dropping gems here. And I know a lot of people are learning a lot. To our audience, I have shared the links to his articles. One of them is how to create a financial roadmap, and the other article is how to pick up the pieces of your finances. Once you get time, you can view those articles, get to read them, and of course, leave him a comment or feedback so that he can get to be in touch with you as well. Now, as we are coming to the end of this conversation, as I mentioned, I would want us to continue talking and talking because you're talking much sense. Um, what is that money principle that you live by that you'd want other people to emulate?
Pay yourself first. Yeah, I mean,
Oh, nice.
I know many people. Last 2 weeks, I was with a friend.
Nice.
I
Mm-hmm.
was with a friend around airport in Ghana, around my office, and he came with another friend from South Africa,
Mm-hmm.
and he actually came to speak in Ghana, and we
Mm-hmm.
had a long conversation, and we realized that most of the time, I mean, it's something that is there, but one of the things that kept going on was that people are always paying other people, or we have become distribution channels. I mean, anytime you get the money, you share it to every other person and leave yourself out, right? So one of the things that I think is very key is to pay yourself first. By paying yourself first, I don't mean leave the money in your bank account. I believe that you should
Mm-hmm.
have some money in your bank account, yes, but you should make sure that your money is working for you. You are investing the money, yes. So you should pay yourself first. Make sure that money is working for you. Thank you.
Amazing. Pay yourself first. To our audience, you've heard that. Pay yourself first. You need to bring yourself first. Stop paying everything and everyone else and forgetting yourself. I actually tend to believe paying yourself is part of self-care and self-love. So if you really love yourself, you need to pay yourself first, as well as you are investing for your future. Now, this question just came in my mind, Pastor Enoch. You are a servant of God, an anointed one. I've listened to most of your sermons and I've gotten ministered too. Now, what is the challenge of being in ministry, and as well as being in the marketplace? What are some of the challenges you've encountered, and how can one overcome them?
Okay, so I remember that in 2019, I had
Mm-hmm.
a very long conversation with my one of my mentors. It's called Richard Akita, and with some other friends, we went to check out some property at a very far place on the mountain, and we had a conversation around. I was already in industry and I was already a pastor, but we had a conversation around how I can still portray the idea of me being a pastor and a financial
Mm-hmm.
literacy advocate or an investment professional. And
Mm-hmm.
during the conversation, one thing came to my mind: financial pastor. So I decided,
Okay.
okay, financial pastor. It doesn't mean that I
Mm,
only talk about money. I don't always talk about money. If you listen to me, I
mm,
don't always talk about money. I talk about other things as well. There are very important things in the Bible, and it's a 360 thing that we need to do as ministers. One of the challenges has been the combination. Is not easy, to be honest with you. It's not easy.
mhm,
You are not a pastor 50%. Oh, you are a lay minister, yes, but you are working as if you are doing full-time ministry. Yes, you are giving your
mm,
all to work and you are giving your all to church and God. So
mhm,
it's
mhm,
very draining. It's very, very
mhm,
stressful. That today,
mhm,
like I told you, I was in an earlier meeting with someone that got me exhausted. It
mhm,
was actually with, I mean, my current resident bishop here, Reverend Kwashi, and
mhm,
we had a long conversation. And I mean, come on. It's because I'm on leave. That's why I got the chance to be able to be with him in his office, and we had long conversation. But we needed to have those conversations as well. So you see that time is a major factor that affects most people that want to combine both. So people prefer to go either full time or just do work and leave. But if you can rely on God for strength and manage your time
Mhm.
well, you can combine both and still be fine. Yeah.
Amazing, amazing. That's super great to hear from you, especially combining both and being able um, to deliver in both ministries. It's something that is quite attractive. Now, this brings us to the end of the show. I do understand you are a very busy person, as we just talking, and I would really love to take this conversation forward, and once we get another chance, we can always have another episode in the future. Now, to our
Sure.
audience, thank you very much. Sorry.
Sure. You can always reach out to me.
Amazing, amazing. To our audience, you've heard it from Pastor Enoch on how you can create an investment roadmap, as well as if you are looking into getting into ministry and you have another mountain that you are conquering by the grace of God. He is a testimony that you can operate in both and be able to still deliver results. As he had already informed us, he's not just a pastor, he's a financial pastor as well as an investment advisor, financial literacy advocate, and an author or a business columnist in one of the most famous newspapers in Ghana. Now, we'd encourage you to keep on subscribing to our YouTube channel, share this link out as much as possible, and most importantly, watch and put into action what you've learned, because that is the sole reason why we bring such great people to the show. Now, until then, Pastor Enoch, if someone would want to be in touch with you, maybe to get more insights about investments, or maybe something to do, maybe to be delivered from financial poverty, how can they get to you?
I've tried to maintain a consistent social media identity across all social media platforms, be it Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, as well as Twitter. When you type my name in Dzah, I will come up. One young man like that. I'm not old, please. I'm very young. I'll come up and follow, I mean, connect, send a friend request and let's get talking. Send me a message and I'll always reply you. If not immediately, I'll always definitely reply you as soon as I read the message. So I think that would be how to connect. I'll also drop, what's the name? I'll drop a message in the comment section with my profile. So you could click on any of the links and you could reach out to me. Thank you.
Absolutely. Yeah, actually, you can as well just send me the links. I will
Okay,
attach
I'm
them to
doing
the
that
live
right
video.
away.
Yeah, I'll attach them to the live video afterwards. Now, this brings us to the end of the show. Once again, Pastor Enoch, thank you so much for being here with us and sharing such immense wisdom with our audience. We are truly honored and grateful. To everyone that has been watching us, thank you so much for your time and thank you for watching us tonight. We believe you have been transformed financially and we can't wait to hear your testimonials. Until then, we encourage you to keep safe, subscribe, share, and most of all, put into action whatever you learn from this channel. See you and stay blessed. Bye.
Thank you so much and stay blessed too, Sheila.
Thank